All right, now we're being given the general form of the equation for an ellipse, and we're being asked to graph it after putting it into standard form. So how do we do this? Well, if you remember back to quadratics, we completed the square with whatever term was being squared. Well, now we're going to do that with both x and y because both the x and y terms are being squared. Variables are being squared. So let's group together first our x terms and y terms, and then we'll complete the square with each one of them individually. So we have 6x squared plus 12x plus 4y squared minus 32y. And then we'll go ahead and move the constant to the other side, subtract 34 from both sides, so it equals negative 34. So now we'll complete the square with the x terms, and then we'll complete the square with the y terms. So take out the 6, and we have x squared. And now remember, whatever we're doing to one side, we're going to have to do to the other. We're going to have to multiply through with that constant that we factored out with both of them. And this shouldn't be 12x. This should be 6 times 2x. And then we want to complete the square, so we'll divide 2 by 2, which is 1, and then square it, so that's plus 1. And then we'll do the same thing with the y terms. And don't forget, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other, so we'll have to add constants to the other side. But then we'll factor out the 4 times y squared minus 8y. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is plus 16. And again, that's negative 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16 in parentheses equals negative 34. Now we added 6 with this first one. 6 times 1 is 6, so we need to add 6 to the 34. And then with this second part, 4 times 16 is 64, so we added 64, so we have to add 64 to the other side as well. So now we've completed the square with both terms, so we have 6 times x plus 1 squared plus 4 times y. Now this one's going to be minus 4 squared equals negative 34 plus 6 plus 64. That's negative 28 plus 64, which is going to be 36. Now when we divide both sides by 36, we're left with x plus 1 squared over 36 divided by 6 is just 6, plus y minus 4 squared, and then 36 divided by 4 is 9, equals 1. So now we've got that in our standard form for an ellipse. So what does this mean? That means our center is at negative 1, 4, because it's x plus 1, and y minus 4. So our center is at negative 1, 4. We'll go ahead and plot that. A squared equals 6. So A equals plus or minus the square root of 6, which is approximately plus or minus 2.45. So we go 2.45 in each direction horizontally from the center, and we plot points there. And then we go on to b squared equals 9. So we have points at negative 1 plus 6, 4, and negative 1, or negative 1 plus the square root of 6, 4, negative 1 minus the square root of 6, 4. That's for our horizontal axis. b squared equals 9, so b equals plus or minus 3. So we'll go plus or minus 3 up and down from the center, which is going to put us at negative 1, 7 and negative 1, 1. And then as well as we can connect the dots to form the ellipse. I like to go ahead and try to do each quadrant separately. It seems to kind of help with graphing the ellipse. So to put an equation for an ellipse that's in general form into standard form, we complete the square for both variables, divide both sides by the constant to get the standard form, and then we use the properties of the standard form to graph the ellipse.